Good afternoon. This afternoon, very happy to welcome a great singer, artist, songwriter. I think she does everything regarding to music. Mrs. Sarah uh, Pearson, originally
Yes,
from Sweden, correct?
that's correct.
Correct. Welcome, Sandra. Thank you very much for joining the interview. We've been in touch for a long time, I think, on LinkedIn, which is great to have you on my YouTube channel. First, I want to ask you, being from Sweden, can you tell me what is the process of studying music professionally, and how did you study music in Sweden?
Well, I started with music when I was a little child, to be honest. I started to do talent shows when I was 10, and I've been singing and playing instruments like throughout since I was a child. And then I started to
Yes,
study music in Sweden, and I went to different music schools, pre-college, and like preparing for college. And I studied and I studied and studied. When all my friends were taking gap years, I was like, music, music. So I kept
yes,
studying, and I went to, I don't know how many schools, different courses that I took in Sweden before I actually went to music university in England.
yes,
So I went to, like private schools and then prepare for college schools. And I studied all kind of genres of music as I grew up. But I realized in my late teens that I wanted to focus on jazz. So when I studied at the university where I moved to England to do that, my major was actually jazz voice and jazz piano.
yes. Yes. And when did you decide to move to the United States?
So the first trip I went to United States was 2006, and then 2009 I ended up going on a little just on vacation tour around to different states, to different friends that I have met at different places around the world, because I do love to travel. And there was just something special about it. This was the first time where I really was like, I want to go to the United States. Was 2009. But then I was working and living in England. I had a great music career there. I was both teaching piano and singing, and I was working as a jazz singer for many years, because I ended up living in England for 12 years. So I had everything there, but I mean, it's funny how you say it, but I had a call to go to the US, and I ended up
Yes.
moving here like full time,
Ah,
like at least, starting to move here around 2012.
yeah, yeah. This is like 10 years ago.
Yes.
Yes. Being from Sweden, I've seen also your videos, your YouTube channel.
Hmm.
You sing in different languages, Sweden, English, and Swedish, English, and Spanish as well.
Not
And you play
Spanish,
piano. You,
maybe not Spanish, but Swedish
yeah,
and English.
yes, because I've seen a song here, Pésame mucho, which is
Oh,
in
I guess that is Spanish. Yeah, that's true. That's
yes,
true.
because this is
So,
the
but that's
language
part
of
of the song. I love
yes,
that song.
yes. In Ecuador, my wife is Colombian, so it's one of the languages I speak. So I was
Oh,
very happy listening to it. But
oh, happy to hear that.
yeah, yes, I want to ask you, um, being from Sweden and myself, I come from a generation we were exposed to ABBA, then Roxette, then Ace of Base, and
Yes.
Cardigans, and many, Swedish bands who become very popular, around the world, including where I come from, Egypt and the Middle East. We used to love, of course. ABBA. We grew up listening to ABBA, and then they came other band. Why do you think, Swedish band and singers become so successful around the world? Is it related to their music, to their maybe their beauty or their lyrics? What do you think? Or it's a combination of everything?
I do think it's a combination of everything. I mean, I obviously grew up listening to the same bands. The first talent show I
Yes,
won when I was about 10, I sang an ABBA song, so they have a
yes,
big place in my heart, and I've also been singing actually in an ABBA band here that I got invited to be in. But to answer your question, we also have like a big music, what do you say?
heritage.
Pardon?
Heritage, big
We
music
do.
heritage.
And
Yes,
we have a Swedish, like when you live in Sweden, there's a whole music business that's just in Swedish lyrics, like we have a whole thing that doesn't even leave Sweden, but it's
yes,
huge. On the radio, you hear a lot of Swedish music, and we have a lot of Swedish artists that are just kind of famous in Sweden because we sing in Swedish. But
yes,
then obviously we have, like, Max Martin, for example, who's been writing songs for Swedish, but also who's been writing songs for a lot of American and other artists too. So, I don't actually know. All I know is that we grow up with a lot of music, and we do listen to a lot of different music. I grew up loving the Beatles, for example.
hmm,
Um, but you are right. There's a lot of bands that's become internationally famous from Sweden, like Roxette and the Cardigans, and obviously ABBA.
yes. Yes, speaking of jazz, this is I think, your main love. I don't know if you have seen, a lot of films are related to jazz singers or their biography. I don't know if you have
Hmm.
seen Birdie. Birdie, it was a film by Clint Eastwood, starring Forrest Whitaker. Also, Clint Eastwood himself loves jazz. He plays piano. Sometimes he sings as well. Very
Oh,
few
nice.
lines in his films, like the Bridges of Madison County. And what can you tell us, especially about jazz? What is the magic and the continuous love of jazz, around the world and until now, although it is an old practice of music.
Yeah, so to start a question, I just want to say, like, like when I grew up, obviously, I was not exposed to jazz. My parents
Yeah,
was ABBA, the Beatles, Elvis,
of course.
and all those. I was not exposed until later. And I mean, I grew up,
Yes,
and when I play and write my own music, it's not particular jazz. It's more singer-songwriter, to be honest, and we can get back to that. But when I was in my, like I said, late teens, and I've been doing music my whole life, and all, both classicals and popular and all that. But I sang in a girl choir, and for the first time, I got exposed to jazz. And
yes,
for me, it was like something came alive that I'd never felt before. Every song we sang that was jazz, I couldn't stand still. It was something in me that, and the other girls, I'm a quite forward and open spoken Swedish person. Like many Swedish people are not as open and forward as I am, or more like keep themselves, And the rest of the girls, they were, standing and singing, and I was like, you know what? I can't stand still. So for me
yes,
personally, something awoke in me that I hadn't felt before when I started to sing jazz. And I think it's the freedom of it. It's like, for me, it's like you sing from your soul, and it's something about it that makes my voice come out in a different way than when I sing popular music, or even when I sing my own written music. There's something in jazz, in the phrasing, and I can't even explain what it was, because, like I said, I didn't get exposed to it when I grew up. I didn't listen to it. But the first time I sang it, it was like a light was fired inside my heart that I could not get, I couldn't,
yeah,
stop. And that's how I knew that jazz was something for me. And, it is an acquired taste. Not everybody, likes jazz the way I do. I mean, to me, it's like the top of because with all the different, you learn classical music, you learn popular music, and it's a certain chord progression and a certain chord that you're playing. With jazz, you expand that. There's more. I see everything in colors, and in jazz, there's more colors to the music. And
yes,
literally, we call when we put, and I'm talking music language because I'm obsessed with music technique. I love it so much. But like, and so, when you put the chord down, and for a jazz chord, you often color it with like a 7 or a 9 or a 13, which makes it bigger. And maybe it's something
yes,
about that with jazz that I love. I don't know. It's just there's more color to it to me. As much as I love all other music too, of course, because
of
I mean,
course.
I do sing and play them all. But then there's also different kind of jazz, of course. I'm a lover of the standard jazz. I'm a lover of, I mean, I like improvisation, of course, too, and all the crazy improvisation, but I prefer the jazz that is, we call standard. And just to
Yes,
give an example, I mean, I I'm very inspired by Chet Baker. Do you know who Chet Baker is?
I heard of him, but never
Yeah.
heard his work.
And
Yeah.
he was mostly, I guess, famous for his he played trumpet, but he also sang. And for me, with him, less was more. He was like his phrasing. It wasn't the crazy improvisation. It wasn't the crazy change of the melody or anything like that. Less was more. He sang with his soul, and that really inspired me. So, but I can only speak for myself, and I know there's a lot of jazz lovers that maybe prefer crazy jazz with lots of improvisation, which I love that too. But there's something beautiful to me in the way that standard jazz just express yourself with the soul in your own way. That maybe in classical music you wouldn't be able to. You have to actually you're supposed to keep to the melody and exactly how it's written. But in jazz, to me, I take it into my soul and it comes out from my soul, and it's and it's jazz. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
But tell me, what is the best age for a person to learn piano? And can somebody learn piano after he surpasses 20s, 30s? Or he should...
Definitely. Oh my gosh, definitely. I don't think there's ever an age where it's too old to learn, ever. I mean, my youngest piano students when I started was probably 3 years old. And, you don't learn in the same way as you learn when you're a little bit older, but you can play it forward. To me, teaching is about inspiring the student to learn and to enjoy doing it. But I had, for example, in England, I had one piano student that started when he was like 63, I think. And I have one student currently, actually, who's doing singing, who's like 74, and every age from being a child to up. I don't personally think there's any age where it's too late to learn. You can always learn, and we can learn in different, like maybe one person finds it easier and learn more in a shorter amount of time. But that to me doesn't matter. It's not about how quick you learn. It's about being able to express yourself through the music and learning how to do that through an instrument, whether it's piano or vocals or any other instrument. So it's never too late.
This is great. Yes, because we have a piano at home.
I'll come over and teach you if we were closer.
Yes.
I do a lot of internet lessons. I tell you that after, obviously through the pandemic. And even before the pandemic, I mean, I've been teaching for over 20 years, but like I've been doing obviously in-person lessons throughout these years. I was teaching in Sweden and England and now here, and people were asking me before the pandemic, like, oh, can we do online lessons or Zoom lessons? And I was like, one day I will do it, but I wasn't really confident in it because, I hadn't really done it. And then when the pandemic hit, I was forced to do it. And now that's nearly all I do. And it's actually great because it doesn't matter where you are located, you can still take lessons,
But how do you teach the lesson? On Zoom, or there is a special program for this?
No, I actually teach mostly on Zoom. I also teach on Skype for some students and FaceTime. So those are the three. And it works, it does work. Of course, if the internet is not working that day, it's like it could be a little bit, but it usually works. And I teach like that every day.
Yes, this is great. Sandra, I want to ask you right now, as a singer, right now, of course, we are from the generation of vinyl, then cassette and CD, and right now everything is digital. Right now, for you yourself, how do you promote your work as an artist, your music? Do you put it online, Spotify, YouTube? Do you sing mostly cover, or do you write your own work?
I write my own work. I mean, obviously I do covers too, but like I do write a lot of music, and I haven't put out all the music that I've written yet. And this is something, in me, like I've been working as a professional singer for over 20 years, but I haven't got myself to put it out as much as maybe I would, even though people through the years have encouraged me, oh, you should release it, you should release it. And I was like, yeah, maybe one day. And I started to release it. I have a lot of songs that are not released, but I've started to, I have a couple on Spotify now, and I have one that is coming out in less than 2 weeks on the 22nd of February. And this song, I want to talk a little bit about because it's a special song. It's a song that I wrote, and composed, with the vocals and the melody and everything during the pandemic and in the beginning of the pandemic even. So it was nearly 2 years ago when I actually started to write this song. And it's about really how we together can cope, how we together can cope by being together, but being apart, but still staying together in our heart. And
Great.
what I really wanted to do with this song, it's called We Will Be Okay. And I really wanted to reach as many people as possible with this song, because it's not about me. It's not about, like my whatever I do in music. It's about everybody, because we were all, the whole world was put in this situation, that who knew that in our lifetime this would happen, right? And what I did with this song is, like, in the chorus, it's a standard kind of traditional pop song, like you would say. But in the second and the third chorus, I invited a lot of my students that I have to sing along with the chorus, which is like, we will all be okay kind of thing, right? And as this happened, and I'm not kidding, I have 36 voices, and everybody recorded virtually. I send them over a clip of the chorus, and I kind of guided them, said like, okay, here's how you do it. You listen to it, and then you sing along. You can sing it on your phone and everything. And I have 36 kids' voices singing along to the chorus that they recorded on their phone and then sent to me. And it obviously was a lot of work to put it in together because even though they sang along to my voice, there was still a little bit of like different rhythm or a little different notes here and there that, I had to edit with my producer, which helped me a lot with this. But finally, this song is ready and on its way out. So it means a lot to me, because I have so many of my students and even my friends. I have some of my friends' kids in Sweden singing on it. It's to me a special song, which I hope as many people as possible will hear, because I think everybody can relate to it, because it really has to do with how life changed and how we can go through it together, even though we couldn't be together, if you know what I mean.
Yes, of course. This is great. And usually, Sandra, do you like to shoot music videos for your songs, or do you prefer promoting them as vocally or solo as an audio?
It's something I would like to do more in the future, to do more music videos, because I haven't really done much music video. The videos that I have on YouTube is that I just recorded myself on the phone. Yeah. This song that's coming out, I'm actually going to put together a video with videos and photos of people that are in the video, and even other people, through what we've done through the pandemic, like wearing a mask or whatever, just to get a little bit of more feeling onto what the song is about. But I haven't really shot any professional music video for my songs yet, but that is something I would like to do in the future, for sure.
Yes, this is great. I look forward for the song. Don't forget to send me the link.
Yes, I will do that.
Yes, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much for this interview. And I'll be following your social media, your LinkedIn, your website for the release of the song. And I look forward for your next projects, musical and teaching and everything.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.